Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Thomas, and I learned a painful truth that even the people you trust with your whole heart can betray you in ways you never thought possible. What started as a harmless girls' getaway ended with me canceling my wedding after seeing videos that shattered everything I believed about the woman I was supposed to marry. Michelle and I had been together for 3.5 years when this all unfolded. I can't say those were the absolute happiest years of my life, but we did share a solid bond. We first met at barbecue through mutual friends, and there was an instant ease between us, as though we'd known each other far longer than a few hours. That night, I learned she worked as a dental hygienist at a family clinic downtown, while I was advancing in my career as a software engineer for a mid-cap financial firm. From the beginning, things with Michelle grew naturally and beautifully. We aligned on important values: family, money, and our hopes for the future. She was warm and funny, easily making friends, yet she also cherished quiet evenings at home with me. We balanced one another perfectly, and I never questioned what I felt for her. At the time, I saw her as someone completely genuine. Looking back, maybe I was naive, but then I believed every word she said, whether about little everyday details or major life choices. I never once doubted her when she said she was going out with friends. She'd casually tell me where they were headed, when she'd be back, and if someone at work bothered her, she'd vent openly. Michelle seemed like an open book, and I had no reason to think otherwise. After 2 years of dating, the early excitement had mellowed, and I suggested we move in together. We eventually found a beautiful apartment. Around that time, I was working toward a senior role that would give us financial stability for marriage. Living together brought a fresh spark. We built new routines: balcony coffees on Sundays, riverside walks, and evenings spent cooking side by side. These simple, unplanned moments became the heart of our relationship. Of course, living together wasn't without challenges, but we worked through our disagreements quietly and respectfully. Each laugh, shared dream, and peaceful night reinforced my belief that we were meant to be. It felt like everything was falling into place. On our 3rd anniversary, during a mountain getaway, I proposed. It was just the two of us, watching the sunset from a hiking trail. Before I even finished asking, she was crying tears of joy. The rest of the weekend was filled with talk of our future as husband and wife. Wedding planning with Michelle was exciting. She voiced her preferences, but always included me in every decision. Together, we chose the perfect venue, designed a menu honoring both families' traditions, and created a guest list that celebrated the people we cared about most. I truly believed she was as eager as I was to start our married life. Michelle had a close-knit group of girlfriends, friends she'd known long before we met. They'd been through everything together: breakups, new jobs, family struggles, milestones. I trusted them because I knew them well. So when Michelle mentioned a Vegas trip with her friends, I didn't think twice. She described it as a long weekend to unwind, see shows, eat at good restaurants, and enjoy themselves. She had never been to Vegas before, and I was happy she'd experience it with her best friends. A few weeks before the trip, I teased her about what might happen if the boyfriends tagged along. Without hesitation, she said, "No boyfriends allowed." She explained that they'd agreed to focus on themselves, free from outside distractions. Although I joked, I couldn't ignore Vegas's reputation. I admitted my concerns after reading stories of trips gone wrong. But Michelle reassured me firmly, promising nothing of the sort would happen. Her confidence and honesty put me at ease. The week before her trip, we kept talking about how much we'd miss each other. Michelle said she couldn't wait to return and keep planning the wedding. We even made a light-hearted pact to enjoy ourselves, but check in nightly with a quick message. She laughed, promising, "Just us girls, Thomas. Our love is too important to risk over something meaningless." Her words made me trust her even more. The night before she left, we had a romantic dinner at home. She showed me her itinerary, the hotel they booked, and joked about losing a little money at the slot machines. The next morning, I drove her to the airport. She hugged me tight, saying she loved me more than anything, and I watched her walk away with complete faith in her promises. The first day went smoothly. She texted me that they'd arrived safely, even sent a group photo of them in the hotel. All smiles. The second day, she shared a few updates, a morning text, and a picture from lunch. Everything seemed fine, exactly what I expected. But that night, around 10 p.m., I got a message from my friend Ryan. His girlfriend Amanda was on the trip too, and she'd been sending him photos and videos. Some of those included Michelle. Scenes he felt I needed to see. The first video showed Michelle at a blackjack table with her friends. But they weren't alone. Several men had joined them. From their body language, it was clear these strangers had become part of the group. Michelle looked comfortable with them. Too comfortable. The second video, taken later at a nightclub, was worse. The same men were with them, and everyone was drinking and dancing. And there was Michelle on the dance floor, grinding against one of those men. His hands were on her hips, her body pressed to his, and she was laughing, clearly drunk. I replayed it over and over, hoping I misunderstood, but there was no denying it. That was the woman I planned to marry in just a few months, behaving like she was single and free. She had broken the exact promises she'd made before leaving. Ryan explained that Amanda thought she was just sharing fun party clips. But watching them destroyed me. The Michelle I saw in those videos was nothing like the woman I believed I knew. I didn't confront Michelle immediately. Instead, the next day, I went to our wedding planning group chat, the one with both families and our wedding party, and simply wrote that the wedding was off. When the flood of questions poured in, I forwarded the videos. The truth spoke for itself. Soon after, Michelle saw the chat. She called me over and over, more than 20 times that night, begging to explain. She sent dozens of texts, insisting it wasn't what it looked like, but I had seen enough. By the next day, she was calling my friends, pleading with them to convince me to hear her out. She claimed the dancing didn't mean anything, that nothing else happened. But how could I know? That afternoon, Amanda told me Michelle had decided to cut her trip short and fly home. While she was in the air, I packed every one of her belongings from our apartment, drove them to her parents' house, and left them on the porch with a note. Then I changed the locks and began the process of removing her from the lease. When Michelle arrived that night, her key didn't work. She called from outside, crying, saying the videos looked worse than they were. Through the door, I told her things were at her parents' place, and she needed to stay there. Over the next week, she tried everything. Her family reached out. Her sister showed up at my work. Her mother begged me not to throw it all away over one mistake. Eventually, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. Michelle explained that the men had approached them at the casino, bought them drinks, showed them around, and that the dancing was just party fun. She swore nothing else happened. She said she loved only me. But for me, it wasn't about whether she slept with someone. It was about promises. She had sworn this exact scenario would never happen. Yet when tested, she failed. If she couldn't keep those promises, how could I trust her with vows of marriage? She cried, begged, promised to rebuild trust, but I knew better. Those words were the same kind she'd given me before leaving. This time, I told her clearly our wedding was off, and I couldn't see a future together. In the months that followed, Michelle tried again and again, counseling, apologies, letters, even mutual friends pleading her case. But I realized forgiveness doesn't equal reconciliation. Our definitions of commitment were simply different. 6 months later, I told her firmly there was no going back. I had loved her deeply, but trust, once broken, doesn't fully return. I needed to protect my own integrity and peace of mind. Ending things was devastating. We had built a life together and dreamed of a future. But time showed me I had made the right decision. I learned that actions speak louder than words, and promises mean nothing if they can't be honored. Michelle had looked me in the eyes and given her word, yet when the moment came, she chose differently. I don't think she set out to hurt me, but intentions don't erase betrayal. Sometimes, the harshest lessons teach us the most. I'm grateful I discovered this before marriage, not after. And now, I know exactly what I need in a partner: loyalty, honesty, and a commitment that holds even when temptation appears.